Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you, coming at you with my first replays for Yummy. These replays were all taken within the first couple of hours. In fact, it's still within the first couple of hours of the Yummy pack being live. This first duel is going to be up against Gem Knight Tearlaments, and if you missed the combo guide, then this is going to be a good way of showcasing the turn 1 combo, this duel right here. But I do also have that combo guide linked in the description below if you want to check that out and get a more detailed breakdown of how this deck plays. So, right away, our opponent's going to Ash Blossom the Engage. Now, I might not normally start with Engage if I have other starters in my hand, because I'm thinking about Droll and Lockbird, right? But also thinking about Droll and Lockbird with this hand, I already have both Marshmallow and Yummy Surprise, so even if I get hit with a Droll here, I can still end on pretty much a full board anyway. So I decided to lead with Engage, hoping to bait something like an Ash Blossom. Which of your starters you'll actually begin your plays with is going to be pretty hand dependent a lot of the time, but now I can summon Marshmallow, special summon Marshmallow off its own effect because I control no monsters. We're going to link off into the Yummy Snatchy. Yummy Snatchy effect's going to place the Mignon. Mignon will revive the Marshmallow, and now we can Synchro Summon for the Cupsy Yummy way. From this point forward, it's pretty much just going to be a standard turn 1 combo, right? We're going to have to discard either our Ash Blossom or Purge here. I'm of course going to get rid of the Purge. I think Ash Blossom is definitely stronger, but Dominus Purge is definitely still a powerful card that is absolutely worth playing in this deck. So this is the kind of counterintuitive bit of the combo, making the Sorrow Cat and then linking it with the other level 1 Yummy monster to make the Sky Striker Ace Camellia. Because Camellia can then dump the Hornet drones, which we can then add back off of the Kagari. Yeah, Camellia is going to be pretty important for Yummy plays, and is not out in the TCG, I don't think, so definitely important to note that card if you're more used to playing Yummy with the TCG combo lines. Now, rather than make the Lollipo right away, I'm going to revive the Sorrow Cat first and make Herald of the Arclight. You always want to make Herald of the Arclight before a Lollipo Yummy way for optimal plays against Nibiru. But now we can Surprise, revive Marshmallow, Marshmallow effect, we'll add back the Surprise. And now we can Synchro Summon for our level 2 Lollipo Yummy way. The Lollipo Yummy will summon back the Cupsy and the Marshmallow. We can link one of those off into the Snatchy, the second copy of it. Remember, Snatchy's at 2 in Master Duel, so can't go through all 3 copies. And then I'm going to set without summoning the Lollipo Yummy way. Again, if you've seen my combo guide, you'll know why I kept this in hand, but just in case you haven't, I'll tell you. The reason we want to keep this in hand is because during our opponent's turn, we're going to make Tatsunoko, which can Synchro Summon with a monster in our hand. That's going to be the Lollipo Yummy way. Alright, so they're going to play right into the Herald Floodgate, which is of course one of the more powerful aspects of this end board. Opponent clearly was not super familiar with that, using the Engraver to try to add the Tract here, but of course the Engraver, as you saw, went to the Banish pile, because any monster sent from the hand or made deck to the graveyard is banished instead while the Herald is in play. That's why I didn't even use the Ash Blossom against the Engraver here, because I knew that was just not going to really pan out for them. And I had a feeling they were going to surrender shortly after, and sure enough they did. Plus we could have also just used Ash Blossom against the Tract itself if we wanted to avoid them being on the Lurie, but yeah, there we go. Right off the bat, there is a very solid turn 1 win with the Yummy deck. And of course, against a deck like Gem Knight Tearlaments, that Floodgate effect of Herald of the Arclight is going to be very, very useful. But it's not the only matchup where that effect is really going to matter. Let's see another game where that effect is really going to come into play. Alright, this next duel is going to be a going first game again, this time against Dracotail, and this time rather than just show you a standard combo, I'm going to show you how to play through a hand trap I didn't cover in the combo guide. That's going to be Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird is going to be one of the better hand traps against Yummy, but it's also not too hard to play around, even with a standard hand like this, where we have the Cookie Yummy and the Fuelos, right? Literally exact 2 cards I showed off in my combo guide to combo with. We're going to normal summon the Cookie Yummy, link off into the Yummy Snatchy, activate Yummy Snatchy's effect. Now here they're going to throw out a Veiler. If you're playing against Yummy and all you have is Veiler or Imperm, Yummy Snatchy is definitely the right place to do it. But thankfully here, I not only have Called by the Grave, but I even have the Triple Tactics talent as well. So I can call by to banish and negate this Veiler. Minion will be placed off the Snatchy. And then now we can activate the triple attack and take a peek at what's in their hand. Okay, so we see 2 Droll and Lockbird, Dracotail Lucius, and THRU Dracotail. This is actually pretty annoying, because if my opponent had just had 1 Droll, it would have been so easy to put it back and not have to deal with Droll and Lockbird at all. But they have both copies, so putting one of these back with the triple attack isn't really an option, so it's gotta be either the Lucius or the THRU. Now, I have the Dominus Purge in my hand, who can just straight up negate the THRU, so I'm actually gonna put back the Lucius here. Yes, Purge could negate Lucius, but Lucius is also going to be a body for our opponent, as opposed to THRU, which won't get them anything once it's negated. So, yeah, we're going to put back Lucius here. And know that we do have to play through Droll and Lockbird, but I'm just going to keep comboing as normal. Minion, Revive Cookie, and then we're going to Synchro Snatchy plus Cookie into the Cupsy Yummy Way. Cupsy Yummy Way is still going to add both Cupsy and Marshmallow Yummy, but of course at this stage, our opponent's going to throw out their Droll and Lockbird. Alright, so now we're going to summon our monsters. Of course, we don't get to search off the Cupsy Yummy, but what we're going to do here is I'm going to Synchro Summon the Shamisen Samsara Sarocat, then I'm still going to link these two in the Sky Striker Ace Camellia. It's a cute way of getting around Droll, because we send Hornet Drones to Graveyard and then add it from Graveyard to hand, not directly from the deck to the hand, as opposed to something like Engage would do, right? So Kagari adds back the Hornet Drones. We're going to activate the Hornet Drones to get our token. Now, in the standard combo line, I would have revived Sarocat and made Herald here. However, I don't have the surprise to revive the Marshmallow, so I need to synchro for the Lollipo Yummy Way now. Plus, we literally know they don't have Nibiru in their hand. So here's Lollipo Yummy Way. Lollipo effect is going to activate Revive Marshmallow and Cupsy. Now I'm going to link the Lollipo, in particular, into Yummy Snatchy. And it's very important that I do it in this order, because now I can use Sarocat, put back Lollipo Yummy Way, summon it from the graveyard, and then I can make Herald of the Arclight. Set Purge, and then pass. So this is an extremely good turn 1 endward to finish with, even though we got hit with the Droll and Lockbird. Not only do we establish the Herald of the Arclight, but we also, again, very importantly, put back the Lollipo Yummy Way to be able to summon on our opponent's turn, excuse me. So also, we know the only 2 cards in their hand are a Droll they're not going to get to use on their turn, and THRU Dracotail, which will get negated by Purge. So even without the Floodgate effect, we still have the Herald Omni to deal with whatever they top deck. But remember that this is going to send any monster sent from the hand or main deck to the banish pile instead of the graveyard. So if Dracotail tries to fuse with stuff from hand or even decklet with Rahu, they're all going to get banished and they're not going to be able to combo anyway. So as you can see, even though we got hit with Droll and Lockbird, our matchup against Dracotail in this scenario is still pretty much unlosable at this point. Yeah, they're going to go into their turn, they're going to activate the Ketu, we're going to chain Purge, and then after this is negated, they're going to concede pretty much right away afterward. It's very likely they don't have any follow-up plays at all, but again, even if they did, we have the Herald of the Arclight, Floodgate, and Omni-Negate effects to stop them from making plays. That's not even considering we could still go, you know, Yummy Snatchy to Synchro into Lollipo Yummy Way, Revive to Lollipo Yummy, tag out for the Snatchy and the 1 again, and then we can climb up to like a Boar Load Savage Dragon during our opponent's turn as well. So yeah, very, very good example of playing through a hand trap that, again, I didn't show off in the combo guide. So there's that. Let's go ahead and take a look at one last duel here. And this will be a going second game that I had against Orcust, Fiendsmith Orcust in particular. All right. Yeah, so they're going to take the first turn, and I mean, as you can see, phenomenal going second hand here. But this isn't even, like, super unusual, right? Because remember that we are playing a total of 16 starters and 18 hand traps. So that's, like, 34 of the 40 cards in our deck right there. So, like, opening multiple of each is going to be very, very common. It was the case in our other hands as well. So they're going to normal summon the Harpour. I'm immediately going to throw out Maxi, and they're going to Call by, to which I'm going to respond with the Ghost Bell. Very, very important to do that here. Obviously, we want our Maxi to resolve, and obviously we want a Maxi before they go into the Link too. So if you know, or the Link 1 rather, if you know your opponent's deck has a Link 1, then throwing out Maxi against their normal summon tends to be the right move, in my opinion. Yeah, they're still going to go for the Galatea Eye. They're going to activate Galatea Eye effect here, discarding the Symbol Skeleton. I decided to use my Ash Blossom here. There was a little bit of a debate. I thought that maybe, you know, in case they have a Maxi, it might be good to hold it, but when I saw them dump Symbol Skeleton, I was like, okay, that plus Hardpour is a bit much. I don't want them to have access to the field spell to have any plays at all during my turn. So we're going to Ash Blossom the Galatea. They're going to pass right back to us. At this point, I have so many Cookie and Lollipo Yummies in my hand right now that I'm just going to go ahead and use Hornet Drones right off the bat. Again, even if they do have a Droll and Lockbird here, I have so many extenders that it kind of just like doesn't matter. But they don't have a Droll, so we're just going to use the Hornet Drones for the token, link off the token into the Kagari. And then now, of course, we're going to use Kagari to wheel the Hornet Drones back, activate again, and then we're going to Synchro Summon for the Cupsy Yummy way. But I'm going to summon it in attack mode here, even though it's got 0 attack points, because we're going second. I'm about to OTK our opponent here. And yes, we're going to do it with our little Yummy monsters because, well, you'll see why in a second if you don't know already. Cupsy Yummy is going to add the Yummy Surprise. Then we're going to summon the Marshmallow. And then we're going to link off the Cupsy into our Yummy Snatchy. Yummy Snatchy gets to activate, placing the Minion. And as you see, our Yummy monsters immediately got a massive buff. That's because the Minion is more than just a turn 1 extender. There's a continuous effect that says Yummy monsters you control gain 500 attack for each Light Beast monster on the field. So that means every one of our Yummy monsters gains 500 times the number of Light Beasts on the field, which is 4. So they all gain 2,000 attack points. That means it doesn't even matter if they started off with 0 attack like the Cupsy Yummy way. As long as you've got 4 Yummy monsters on the board, that's going to be 8k damage right there. So I don't even have to keep comboing, we can just swing in for lethal. And even if our opponent had used an Nibiru there, we still have 3 extenders left over in our hand. Would have been trivially easy to still find lethal in that scenario. So yeah, now that I've shown kind of multiple angles of playing Yummy both on turn 1 and turn 2, let's review the deck list before we finish off the video here. Alright, so here is my day 1 deck list for pure Yummy. It's pretty much the exact same list that was in the combo guide. One very minor difference I made to the hand trap ratio, I took out 1 copy of Imperm for a 2nd copy of Ghost Spell. And honestly, I think I'm about to just go down to 1 Imperm, 3 Ghost Spell. Ghost Spell stocks are really high in this meta, because this card is not only good against Yummy, but remember that it's also still good against Dracotail, one of the other previously most played decks of the meta, as well as having uses in a lot of different scenarios against pretty much every deck, including even stuff like Call By, as I showed in one of those replays. But yeah, Ghost Spell is going to be a very good hand trap in this meta. Make no mistake about that. But yeah, so this is the list here. Now, of course, Marshmallow Yummy and Yummy Snatchy are at 2, coming into Master Duel. So, to kind of make up for the lack of 3rd Marshmallow Yummy, one of the things that I added was a couple of copies of Puri Reese Map, which adds a monster with 0 attack. That's going to be the Cupsy Yummy. So, it's basically just adding even more starters. So, I think we're technically at 17 starters. Or no, it's still 16, because I went down from 3 engage to 2. Yeah, I might even go down to 1, or I could even see an argument for 0 engage, even though they are more starters because they add the Hornet Drones. There's a couple of notable drawbacks. One, of course, is Droll and Lockbird. The other being that once you have used the Hornet Drones, your copies of engage are going to be dead. So, kind of a, again, point against the engages in the main deck here. I could definitely see an argument to cutting 1, if not both of these, and I wouldn't even hate that, honestly. Extra deck is, I think, fairly self-explanatory. A lot of it is geared to go for a 1-card combo line. Again, if you're confused about stuff like Tatsunoko and Cupid Pitch, those are used to make the Borload Savage Dragon during the opponent's turn, and I do demonstrate that in my combo guide linked below. But everything else is probably going to look really self-explanatory here. Almirage is pretty important. to have, because it converts a lot of your hand traps into a link one, which you could then special summon a yummy monster from your hand. So there are some scenarios where that could come up, so I think having Almirage is pretty good. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I have to say about the list and about these first initial games. Definitely look forward to a lot more yummy gameplay from me moving forward. Not just the Mitsurugi variant, but other variants as well. I want to try Yummy Sprite is on my list. At the very least, that one, as well as more pure Yummy. I just really love this archetype. It's a ton of fun to play, and I love the aesthetic. So definitely look forward to more Yummy content in the future. But that is going to do it for now. Let's go ahead and thank our YouTube members and patrons for their very generous support in our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.